The whole idea that I want to try to bring to the table with this is performance shooting and precision shooting can coexist in tandem. I think that people are using barricades on a pretty regular basis, whether they intended to or not. I see a lot of people going to structures to try to stabilize the gun, and I rarely really see anybody talk about that or have that conversation outside of the scope carving world, but I think it's still directly applicable to what we're doing.
Who do you think's gonna go faster, Jeff?
Of course I'm gonna go faster.
Yeah.
I mean, there's,
okay, good.
There's no question.
Yep.
This is real practical rifle shooting. Like, this is what it looks like to me. Barricade shooting with a red dot carbine, like why? Why would I use a barricade? I'm trying to do two things. I'm trying to get more stability out of the gun, and I'm trying to get better durability behind the gun. So I want to let the barricade allow me to create better structure behind it by holding some of it, and I want the barricade to help me create more stability in the reticle system by holding some of it. So what I like to start out with is using a bag. Now I know that most people don't like ride around with this, their wallet and their cell phone, right? So it's probably not going to be a thing that you have on you, but the argument could be made, neither will the rifle probably anyway, right? But
yep.
the idea with the bag is that I want you to experience what perfect looks like, because I don't think that most people have seen a stopped, still, stable gun from a barricade. I think that a lot of people see a good enough stable gun, but most people have never seen a gun that's stopped, still, and perfect. And so I want you to look at what that looks like, understand how you're making that, and then we're gonna start to peel kind of layers back and add layers of difficulty by removing the bag, removing some help. What I'm looking for with barricade shooting, I'm still doing just like with the prone shooting. I'm establishing the natural point of aim line on the way to the barricade. I also like to have a metric kind of built in just from experience of whether or not I have to kneel or can I stand. So one of the biggest things that people lose time on is they'll run into a barricade and they'll do one of these and they're like, crap, and they're like, dang it, that's too, you know, and then by that time 10 seconds has gone by and they hadn't even shot the gun yet. There's not a universal rule for this. It's gonna have to do with injuries, flexibility, your ability to kind of get low and things like that. I know that if a barricade is at my belt line or higher, I can stand up on it very comfortably with no issues. So this one is just under belt line. So it's not that I can't stand up on it, it's that I'm gonna be pretty uncomfortable trying to stand up on it. So I'm probably immediately gonna go into a high kneel off of this. I assess the natural point of aim line the same way as prone. I see it coming from the target across the barricade. My eyes are on where that line crosses the barricade. Before I can ever worry about the shooting, I've got to make the gun mount. As I come in, one of the big time losers that people have is they run like this. They get up to the barricade, and then they have to get the gun up and around and set it on there. If I'm en route to a barricade and I know that's what I'm going to do, I chicken wing the gun and go ahead and get it muzzle high. That way it's easy. I can just come into it and set the gun down as opposed to trying to like finagle it around on top of it once it's already muzzled down when I get there. Once the gun is decked on the barricade, my intention is to apply the principles of stability. Those are twofold. I want to support the gun to the ground through the barricade, and then I want to support the body to the ground through either bone structure or through the barricade. And I want to do those things in that order. So support the gun, support the body. If I can support the gun, even if I have to hold myself up, I can get away with a lot just by supporting the gun. If I can support the gun and my body, I get to have probably more stability, but I certainly get to maintain that position with more durability and longer. So when I'm looking at positional shooting, I'm looking at kind of a triangle that exists. I've got mobility on one leg, I've got durability on one leg, and I've got stability on one leg. I'm trying to not lose one leg of that triangle without growing an addition to an existing leg. Meaning, if I'm gonna lose my mobility, so I'm coming in here, I'm gonna go to a kneeling position, I already know I've lost mobility. I will not do this unless I'm gaining stability or durability. So what is durability? A lot of people understand mobility and stability. Durability is going to refer to two things. Number one, how durable am I behind the gun? Or have I got this weird position that when I fire the first shot, the gun's going to go somewhere weird and I've got to rebuild that position again? How durable am I behind the gun? The next piece of durability is how durable am I in this position? How long can I stay here? Or is my butt cheek screaming at me right now because of this pretzel I've tied myself into and I just can't stay here long? It's not a very durable position. So I've lost mobility, but I've gained stability by utilizing the barricade. So I'm okay with that, right? What I will not do is lose mobility and then gain nothing for it. So a lot of people will go to a knee like this. From the waist up, you've gained nothing over standing. All you've done is reduced your mobility, but there's nothing you've kind of gotten for it. So I don't ever want to do that. What I'm not trying to do, a lot of people have this weird idea of smashing the front of the mag well into the barricade. Now, sometimes it happens, but it's not an intention of mine. My intention is to get as much surface area contact across this rail as possible from the bag. I want you to assess the natural point of aim line. get it coming across that barricade, get it in line where it's coming across the bag, right?
Yep.
And then I want you to approach the bag, set the gun on the bag, and I want you to go to a knee. Okay, so from here, you're canted a little bit offline to your left side. I'm trying my best to stay as consistent as possible for precision's sake, so I'm trying to get my hips square to the gun if I can, right? And you can still get that knee up. Yep, there you go. So now you've got connection here. What I want to do with this hand, this goes fingers down, and this to the bag is the same thing as the support hand to the pistol. The harder you squeeze, the more stable and the more durable that connection becomes. So I'm not just lackadaisically laying this hand up here on the bag. I'm going to connect these two things together. From there, you don't have anything really supporting the back of the gun. If at all possible, can I get this knee under this elbow? And now, so you've got an issue where if you drop down, your muzzle's gonna go high. So in that weird position like that, I am not afraid, so get that knee back under there. Is it possible to fill this little void that without moving anything but your arm, you can slide down the grip and make that connection? So I will shoot the gun like that if I can make a connection to my support system here, right, in the name of stability. If the shot requires it. It's super weird, but in the name of stability, if I need the gun to quit moving and that's what does it, I'll sacrifice the grip on the pistol grip to get that shot.
I mean, if I had just a single shot to make,
I think that's probably pretty low to be comfortable, right? And I probably wouldn't do it, but it's just an option is what I'm saying. If you had a backpack, if you had something weird you could fill that void with, I'd like to do that. One of the things that I try to not do is go support knee up, because when you go support knee up, there's never anything at the back of the gun that you can ever rest on, right? So you can imagine the difference if you took the rifle from there down to this one. Now we can start to make connection to this pedestal to the ground and get an extra support system to the back of the gun. So that's why I typically like the dominant knee up if we're gonna go high kneeling. Make connection to the bag, cinch it together. And then do you see a gun that is still, or do you have movement? And if you do have movement, where is it? Is it up and down? Is it left and right? What are you seeing?
I have movement. It's just kind of a little wobble. I would say it's inside the 10 ring though.
Okay, so a wobble's different than a jumping around gun. Are you squeezing really hard here? So again, I'm trying to connect the bag and the gun. Typically, the harder you squeeze, the more stable the gun becomes.
It's a little more stable, but I can see me getting fatigued fast as well.
Right. So that bag's pretty big, pretty thick. So what we're trying to do from the Barricade in like slow fire, untimed shooting, I want to see if you can shoot a very similar or the same precision size group as you do from just prone the way you zeroed the gun, right? Okay. So you kind of remember what your group sizes were when you were prone. Let's see if we can maintain that from the Barricade. And this is slow fire on you. So when you first fire the gun, the reticle is going to tell you whether or not natural point of aim is established. If it doesn't come back to what it's looking at, you might want to fix something. If you had to make a precise shot, do you prefer that or do you prefer prone? Or is it kind of either or?
I think it'd be either or. I mean,
and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah,
right? We're looking for like,
so I wasn't using my magnifier, but I felt really, I mean, for sure they're all in the black. They're probably all in the 10 ring. I wouldn't put money on the fact that it's a thumb size group like we were shooting from prone.
Right, but we can't necessarily say that that's from the Barricade either because you changed the visual that you were using anyway, right?
Sure. Yep.
So let's go check it out and just see what it is. Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's pretty close.
Beautiful. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Pretty close. Particularly without the magnifier, right?
Yep.
I mean,
what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Cool.
I'll take it.
Come on back. Let's try a different position. So we're going to take your high kneeling away. We're going to put you into a low kneeling. This bag is going to kind of suck for this, and the reason is we got this sharp edge. When we deck this thing on here, it's going to create almost like a little radius, and it's not going to be very stable, but it's certainly going to be more stable than nothing. Yep. So I want you to try a double kneeling with that and see what you think about the stability of that. So same thing, natural point aim line coming across the target, deck it on there. And so that one's going to be really interesting because you've got the ability to support the gun, but supporting the body is kind of interesting because if you lean all of your weight on that, like obviously it's going to tip forward towards you, you might can dig towards it and kind of push on it a little bit. You've lost a lot of mobility here compared to a high kneeling. And so I typically don't want this position if I don't have to have it. I'm interested in you kind of just taking a second and looking at how stable you are with a double knee. And then I want you to bring your dominant knee up.
I mean, I don't think I could hang out here as long. It is more fatiguing, I guess, because I'm not as flexible in the fact that I'm not actually sitting on my feet.
In your adductors?
Right, so like that little bounce, like this, this separation here.
Yep.
Right? It's
and you can't get your heels under your butt?
I mean, I could.
Like on your toes even?
I mean, that feels way less stable.
Okay.
If I go, I'm not as stable as I was.
Okay, let's get
But
your...
I am pretty, I mean, I feel confident about 10 ring right here.
Okay, so let's get your dominant knee up, and I want you to see, can you get inside of it? Like this right here. And so I'm gonna use that to kind of press in, and I want you to see, is that more stable, less stable, or about the same?
It's more stable.
So I think the reason it's more stable is just by touching something back here that's supporting the back of the gun, it makes a difference.
Because I have this teeter-totter thing, and I'm eliminating.
If at all possible, so I think it could be a little better if you could take the tension out of that ankle. So if you could get this shin more straight up and down. And so looking at the double kneeling and then looking at the single low kneeling, whenever you think you're as stable as you're gonna get from that, I want you to fire those same 5 shots. Remember to squeeze that bag with that support hand, and you're laying the forearm on the barricade. That's a good thing.
That last one was a little, I felt the barricade moving around a bunch on that last one.
So when we kind of look at the triangle, do you feel more mobile or less mobile from
less mobile?
Okay.
Less mobile,
now,
less
are you
stable.
saying that just because you're lower to the ground, or are you saying that because you literally feel like you can't get out of that position as fast? Because that's how I assess it. How quickly can I get out of it?
It would be harder for me to get out of that position because I feel I am more contorted to get into, stay in that position than I am, and I'm a little higher.
But I'll still take it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Like if the mistake shot is that, I'm okay with that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think I felt that. I wasn't confident that it was in the 10, but I was confident the other ones were.
Cool. Come on back, Terry. So we've got high kneeling, low kneeling, double knee. Again, double knee is something like it's required. It's almost like single hand shooting. Like nobody strives for that position. Sometimes you just got to do it because you got to get low enough, and prone's not an option. But I typically try to avoid double knee if at all possible, because it's not like a lot of people might watch this and they might think, well, I love double knee because I can really drive into the barricade and like really dig into it. Well, that's true on the barricade that you train on, right? But you can't always assume that barricades will allow that. Like a grandma's half fallen over 4-foot chain link fence section might not allow that, right? And so I'm always looking for positions that I know are gonna be applicable from any barricaded structure. So I don't necessarily prefer a lean into the barricade, and I also don't like a reverse lean where I'm gonna grab the barricade and lean off of it. Some dudes will do that sometimes. And I'm not saying I never do it, I just don't typically train for that, because a neutral load will work with any barricade that'll hold the gun up, right? So I don't wanna kind of bias it towards my specific environment. So we've got durability, mobility, stability, all accomplished. Now we have to assess the speed at which you can make that position, because it's possible that the position is super stable and super durable, but the time that it takes you to get into that ball of pretzel, right, it might not be something that's viable, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you 8 seconds to start from about 3 paces off the barricade. And on the buzzer, I want you to mount the bag, I want you to mount the rifle to the bag, take the position of your choosing, and get a single shot out of that gun in 8 seconds or less. So that position is gonna be really weird to maintain for long periods of time. So I don't want my heels off the ground, so I don't wanna be like doing a lunge, right? I wanna get under the gun, not leaned into the gun. Also the bag, so the way that you've got it oriented, you've got less surface area that way than you do, that way. So I'm always looking to get it long ways in. If at all possible, if you could scooch in, I bet you that connection would be even more secure. Again, I'm not driving it into that bag, but I am gonna let that axis be taken up by the bag. We're looking for all black of the B8. You got 8 seconds to fire a single shot. You ready?
Yep.
Shooter indicates ready. Stand by. Think she's in there?
Yeah.
All right, so that's 4.42. So I'm gonna drop some time away from you. So now you got 5.5 seconds. You ready?
Ready.
Stand by. Make the mount. Very nice, 3.53, you're doing good. My personal standard that I wanna hold for this is right at 3. I think that that's a pretty good place to be. All right, so see the natural point aim line. Aggressively attack that line, but with finesse. You ready?
Ready.
Stand by. There we are, 3.35. So now I'm gonna push you a little bit. 3 seconds. I'm okay with misses. I'm okay with that, right? Like it's unreasonable to think we're gonna shoot great trying to do something we normally don't do. All right, here we go. Stand by. Okay, 376. You ready?
Ready.
Stand by. Go. Set it, mount it. There he is.
All right, shooter ready.
Yeah.
Stand by. Three, 1, 1.
311. Try it again.
Shooter ready.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Jumped it a little bit.
288.
And one more.
Stand by. 305.
Yeah, so that's what I say, like right around that 3-second par is a pretty good place to live. That all feels in control. Let's check them out. Yeah, so I'm solid on that. And one out, that's okay.
Yep. All right. No, 2 out. Or one.
One out.
1 out of the 2 out of the 10
Well, if you're
ring.
trying to maintain 10 ring, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Cool, come on
That's
back.
kind of what I was thinking.
We're gonna start with no bag now, and at your pace, with no timer, you're gonna revisit high kneeling and low kneeling, and I want you to shoot 2 rounds as quickly as the sights recover. So this could be kind of thought of as doubles, but I want you to think of it as more reactive doubles.
Okay.
Right? So I'm not shooting until I see what I need to see, but I'm trying to refine my mount and my durability so that the gun puts itself back without me having to put it back. And so now it's interesting because we've got no lift off of the Barricade and we got suppressor issues coming into play.
Yep, we do.
So there's a couple of things you can do. You can either let your hand be the bag, right? That is kind of iffy and not super stable. It also doesn't give you a tremendous amount of lift.
Should we take this off?
No, because this is the Barricade you got.
Yep.
So this is very akin to like a car hood. So it's lower on my side than it is in the middle, right?
Yep.
So one of the things that I'll do when I need a little bit of elevation for suppressors and whatnot, yet again, another reason that I like to run my sling where I like to run it. If you'll move your sling to the front position, this is Mark's guideline, not necessarily a universal guideline. I use a reference point of my buckle. I make a little hang loose symbol. Wherever my thumb lands from that buckle, I'm gonna dive down into that, wrap around, and so now I end up like this. And then I'm gonna shoot this thing like a pool cue. Right? And so if you get it where the sling is set up right, I can dig into that and I can get stability from how it wraps around my hand. I feel like a lot of tension in the web of my hand. Basically, anytime I'm dealing with a flat surface and I don't have a support bag, I'm gonna wrap into the sling anyway. Okay. Right? Just as a general rule, because even on a flat surface with the right suppressor and a small enough diameter rail, you're still possibly making contact, which is always a bad thing. If I see that coming, I'm wrapping into it and I'm gonna land on it like this. And now I know that that's not going to be an issue. And I am stable. Can we take that board off? What the hell's going on here? So what do you think? Do you hate it?
No.
Most people, I think, bias a Barricade to their desire for stability and like a perfect barricaded shooting position. And what I do instead is, like, I want one of those rocks. Like I just want random things, because like that's the stuff that shows you problems that actually exist in the world, not things that you bias towards your own strengths. If you can figure out how to do this well, like a VTAC wall is not hard at all, right? Like all these things do is just force you to figure out how to do it on hard mode. What's the practical application of that technique? Car hoods are a huge one. Like the majority of people shooting car hoods, like if they understand how to get elevation like that and maintain stability, that fixes that problem. It's a great little tool to use on car hoods. Works fine. Yeah, we're still pretty solid. So that snuck out just now, right?
Yep.
Yep. The whole idea that like I think I want to try to bring to the table with this is like performance shooting and precision shooting can coexist in tandem. Like it's not like a thing where you have to like pick one, you know? Like a lot of people are like, oh, shooting BH makes you slow. Well, shoot it faster then, man. Yep. You know what I mean? Oh, dang, that's kind of tricky.
It's the same idea of like prep and smash or smash, and if you're smashing the trigger at 25 yards and getting all A-zone hits, then
do you, man?
Yeah.
Whatever. Standing Barricade's super similar in concept to the kneeling one. The only difference is that we now have to utilize our legs and our hips for our support. The biggest mistake that I think most people make on the standing barricade is that they come in and they attempt to shoot the rifle the way they always do. So they'll come in and they'll kind of stand like this. And it's not necessarily that this is always wrong, right? So it's not that I'm saying never do this. It's just that for maximum precision and maximum durability behind the gun and a repeatable recoil sequence that I can rely on, I like to maintain the idea of square toes, hips, and shoulders the same way that I do from any other precision position. So what I'm gonna do is bring my feet together on a parallel plane where there's a straight line across the front of my toes. What I never want to do, so if I'm way too high and when I mount the gun, I'm looking at the bottom of the target, what I don't want to do is like use muscle to lower myself down. I don't want to bend into the knees and start to kind of do a squat. How am I going to do that? My feet are going to become my macro elevation adjustment. So I'm going to just start spreading my feet apart to lower myself to the ground wherever I want to. If I find that I'm now too high above the target, I need the dot to come down because I'm connected to the back of the gun. I bring my feet together and the dot comes down onto the target. It's a pretty high standing position, so that's what it's going to be right about there. For the purposes of stability within the knees, a thing that I think helps a lot. If your toes are out like this, your knees naturally just kind of want to come out of that locked position. What I'll do is I'll bring my toes ever so slightly inboard, and that just kind of naturally puts your knees in a neutral place where they're not trying to fold and they're staying locked. I want to try to use my hips for micro natural point aim adjustment. So when I get on the barricade and I get set up, so I'm in the black, but I'm at the bottom of the circle. So because I'm at the bottom of the circle, I'm going to kick my hips back just a little bit. And just a little bit of movement takes you from the top of the black to the bottom of the black. So I'm using kind of glutes and hip flexors to kind of adjust what's going on here, and that creates just a little bit of movement. I'm trying to maintain that same idea even on low barricaded positions. So this is a pretty low position, but I know I can get it. It's just not going to be very comfortable. I don't want to come into this position and do something like this because this is going to be dramatically unstable compared to if I can create a position where I've got structure underneath me and the gun, so I can stay here for a pretty good amount of time. I do feel a pretty tremendous stretch coming through my adductors right now, but it'll let go here in just a second. But this is going to be far more beneficial for durability and consistency than trying to get in the position you always get behind the gun with and lowering yourself to the ground. Eventually stuff's going to start shaking and trembling. All that's going to come into the gun and it's just not going to be very good for you. So let's see if you can even get the elevation on this thing. It's a pretty high setup, but I think if you put your feet pretty close together, you can get it. So again, don't think of it as the same way we always shoot a rifle where this is kicked back. I want to try to bring all of this square and in line, and then keeping those knees locked. If you kind of pigeon toe your toes just a little bit, it will cause you to kind of just float into a locked knee position without really having to try. What do you see as far as stability on that?
Pretty stable.
Yeah, it's not a horrible barricade. So the thing that you have to watch out for with the particular position you're in is occluding ejection ports from that side. When I have something like that, I actually use my magnifier as a bracing point off of it. So you could go to the right side of that piece of wood and you might be able to come around this with your left arm, utilize that as some sort of bracing structure up against that, or your magazine might hit if it's long enough. And so I would just try both, see which one gives you the most stability. Once you feel like you're stable, 5 shots, the same way that you did from the kneeling position, just at your pace. How you feel about them?
Well, I think they're good shots.
Cool.
But it definitely, like the fact that I did not have a bag or something, the jarring
Oh yeah.
of the recoil
Yeah.
was huge.
So
way harder follow-up shots.
the lower the standing position, the better that gets, because like you're taking yourself from this and turning it more into a prone position when you start to get lower and lower and lower, right? Ideally, I don't want to shoot with my feet together, but this is what we got. It is what it is. Yep. You can also implement different sling techniques if you want, right? So I get kind of creative with the sling. I'll run this thing around and potentially connect the gun, you know, something like that. I'll let it rest on there and dig into it and let it hold the gun like that. The only thing that you got to be cognizant of with this is if I'm going to put pressure into that and I've got it attached to the fore end of the rifle, it could be putting some pull on it that's causing a little bit of deflection depending on how flexy your gun is anyway. There's all kinds of ways that you can gain stability with a sling just by kind of thinking outside the box. It's not uncommon, depending on what kind of crazy barricade I find myself on. I'll hang a gun sometimes, and I can do something like that and get something done with it. You can wrap the thing around and double pinch it and lean into it like that. So like saplings, trees, tree limbs, stuff like that. More or less, think outside the box with what you can do with the sling. That's why I wanted you to try to kind of get over this side and, you know, figure out what you need to do with that. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a second to kind of play around with ideas with that. So now your suppressor's on there. So for this, again, might not be the greatest example, but if all you had was that 2x, like a sling wrap might work pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually pretty stable.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Connect the gun like that. So not the greatest durability, right? Like when you fire that shot, gun's gonna probably go everywhere.
Yep.
But I think if I've gained stability, I'm okay with that. I was going for it.
Yep, gun is going everywhere.
Yep. Yep. So not the greatest for rapid firing, but it's certainly an option for stability. The biggest problem I think people have is this doesn't really do a great job of displaying it, but like coming into something like that and squatting yourself to the ground, I think is gonna be not the greatest thing in the world, right? So I'm trying to get wide and keep those knees locked if at all possible.
I mean, that's pretty stable.
It is, it's gonna be very stable. As long as your adductors and things like that aren't screaming at you and you're like, God, this is horrible, right? I'm ready to get out of here. I think it's totally viable.
I mean, if I had a
That's gonna be the money maker right there. Get on that and shoot a couple once you get it set up. So again, yep, I'm trying to connect the bag. And so now you've got support to the ground for the gun. You've got support to the ground for you through your structure that's going into the ground. And that should be, yeah, that's pretty durable. So that is
pretty close to prone.
I was gonna say, like, that's kind of what is known as modified prone. So I'm gonna get on a tabletop and kind of prone out on the tabletop kind of the idea. I find that, like, if I can pick any position, a low standing is like my preferred option for max stability, max durability, max mobility. Like all of those things kind of come together pretty good when I find myself in a low standing. Let's check your hits on this, and then we'll set up a little course of fire and we'll run it for hit factor. Real nice shooting there, Jeff Mao. Real nice.
Those are new.
Let's go ahead and smoke ourselves before we go eat dinner.
Who do you think's gonna go faster, Jeff?
Oh, of course I'm gonna go faster.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Good.
no question.
Yep. Gotta represent.
Right, there's no question.
Yeah. It's just Mark
I mean,
Smith.
have you seen him all day?
It's just Mark Smith. Is he like sick? Is he sick? Because he's been going slow this whole time.
Kind of person.
Yeah, he's been going slow. He does this for a living, right?
So you're gonna go ahead and pre-stage the bag.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
It's just your range, your rules.
I mean,
but if you can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, just leave the bag there.
All right. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You
or
go
want to
first.
flip a coin? Let's flip a coin. It's more fun. It's not a coin, it's a dip can, but it's the same thing. Heads is Jeff, tails is Mark.
Which one's heads?
The one on the top, duh.
Okay. Heads.
You choose who goes first.
You go first. .2269.
Everything felt pretty good except for the last shot. Last shot dove on me a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Down 2 for a 98. You're screwed. So it's not about fast shooting. It's about doing everything but the shooting at max effort and doing the shooting as aggressively as you can do it correctly. All right, shooter. So start from low ready. It'll be aimed at the base of the target. Are you ready?
Ready.
Shooter indicates ready. Stand by. 2873. 2873.
What? What's wrong? No. Are you hurt or are you upset? I can't tell what that groan is.
No, it's a groan of consternation.
I don't know what that word means, man. I'm serious. Got 10 on. One, 2, 3, 4. Yep. We're down 2.
2,
Down 3.
4, 3,
Down 4.
4.
96.
3.34.
334. That is not bad, dude. I don't hate that. I am 98 divided by 22.69.
Is 4.31.
This is a beautiful demonstration of, in my idea, or in my world, of like what I conceptualize as, like, this is real practical rifle shooting. Like, this is what it looks like to me, you know? And I want to display the idea that precision and performance are not, they're not tied to a yard line. It's a concept, not a distance. You know what I mean? So like you can have them both tandemly, you can have them both independently, and I think a lot of people never really look at, like, what could I do to put those things together?
What's the thing you're gonna change to beat him?
I'm just gonna move faster than he's ever seen.
Yep, got it. Good luck, Mark.
All right, rifle
Is
is staged in any orientation you see fit, unloaded on the barrel.
Okay.
Magazine is staged on the other barrel.
Okay.
We will start at this corner.
Shooter ready.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Shot like trash on that one, so all you gotta do is shoot good, and you're gonna win.
Okay.
Like really trash.
2996. Is that yours out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good at all.
Where
Down
was that
10,
at?
Down 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
Oh, that's on the line.
That's a double though.
Yeah,
What's that?
one of them's on the line.
Right, I counted
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
27 points now.
Yeah.
I got a 73. I feel like you can do that.
2996.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Ready.
Shooter indicates ready. Stand by.
Ah.
Dropped one, Jeff.
I did.
This is the drop one run.
What was my time?
3.6, 5.6.
3656.
What was that? 2967?
10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
18 down. 82.
82.
You wrote 88, but
Oh,
it's actually 82.
that's because I'm so stressed out. Can't handle it.
Let's see what I get. 73, got it.
82 divided by
36.
36.56 is 2.24.
Oh, it's gonna be close, dude. You freaking gave it to me if I got it. So 73 divided by 29.67.
29.67 is 246. So you beat me.
Yeah, but I gotta be honest, I ain't proud of that win. that was
That's fine.
That was-
I wonder where that had to
that
be
was when
this.
you arrived.
This is when I arrived?
Second shot when you came into position. Yeah.
That should be a gimme.
Yep. Second shot when you came into position.
Oh man.
I know. Those always sting. Those always sting.
Right, that's what you get for being bad. But I'm good. Also, sometimes.
I think that running the same thing over and over and over again not only is not realistic for anything that we're actually training to do, but also this is not training, this is performing. Like, you don't get 27 attempts to get what you want. You get what you got. You take lessons and ideas and training concepts from that performance, and then you do the training on those failures. You don't try and try and try until the failure goes away. You train to not let the failure ever be a thing. So like me and Jeff, we've never shot this before, right? And so at no point were we thinking about a result or an outcome unless it was rooted in just beating each other. But like, there was no arbitrary number that we were trying to hit because we don't even know what good is. I think that's the best way to do these performance trainings, because that's how you're always going to be measured at the match, and that's how it's always going to be in real life. Outside of that, I think just time on task and training will give you a pretty creative mindset to be able to utilize barricades that you've never used before, and utilize three-dimensional barricades that have depth, that are not created to be shot off of. They just happen to be things that exist in our environment. Those concepts and principles work across the board with anything you can rest a gun on. Go try that out.